Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Deborah and I am the founder and owner of Kanfuela. I want to go ahead and talk about the best way to brew and drink specialty coffee. This is a question that I get a lot, and it is also an article that I wrote about 2 years ago that is doing quite well on Google. So I figured that I might as well make the video to match it. So let's get started. And so, all right, so specialty coffee, I don't want to go into details of what it is, probably in a different day, but if you're here, you already have an idea of what specialty coffee is. It's pretty much high quality coffee beans that has a high score between 80 and 100. Typically, most of the coffees that I get are typically between 84 and 86, have a score of 84 and 86. So that would be considered specialty coffee. Now, my brand has coffee from DR Congo and Tanzania. So I will just go based on the coffee that I am quite familiar to brew. First of all, there are quite a lot of different ways to brew coffee, specialty coffee as well. A lot of people think that specialty coffee can only be brewed a certain way, but hello, let me announce that you can use all kinds of different brewing methods here. I brought up all my equipment, not all, but most, that I have just to give you a rundown. I'm going to probably introduce you to brewing methods that you're not familiar with if you're new to the specialty coffee community. So let's go ahead and start with the one that you are probably more familiar with, which is just a drip coffee machine. I just took it out of my pantry. It's super dusty and old because I do not use it anymore, and I probably have not used it in, I want to say, at least 6 years. I've had it for a while, but so this is just like a basic drip coffee maker. I hope I don't see anything weird in here because I've not opened this thing forever. So how it works is you just put you put your filter. I don't even remember how to use it, but you just use a filter. You put your ground coffee. Your water goes in a water reservoir in the back here, and then you would turn it on, and boom, it'll start dripping. So that's one of the methods that you can brew specialty coffee. For me, I always recommend that people kind of expand their horizon and try different methods. So the second one that I want to talk about is a Mocha Pot. Oh, let me go back. For the drip coffee machine, most of the time when people are using a basic drip coffee machine, they're using pre-ground coffee, okay? And those tend to be medium. So the ground tends to be medium. Now, if you're going to buy fresh beans, then I also recommend that you grind it at like a medium size, not too coarse, not fine, but just like right in the middle. All right, then I'm going to talk about the Mocha Pot. I've had this Mocha Pot, I want to say, at least 8 years. Yes, and this was my introduction to brewing specialty coffee after I graduated from this right here. So then I got into the Mocha Pot, and I was using store-bought coffee. Bustela, is that the name of the brand? Yes, I was using store-bought coffee, and I have learned that to make the best, pretty much how it works. First, let me show you how it works. All right, so this is where the coffee will come out once it's brewing, and then you have this. So here is where you put your coffee, your ground coffee. You put your water in first, put this on top, put your coffee. Now, not too fine. Also, well, technically it should be fine, but I like it between medium and fine. And you will see that what works for you may not work for others. So you kind of play around with it to see what's, your preference. So I do it on the medium fine, and I, just fill it up all the way. You squirt it back, and then you just put it on right here on your stove. You would just put it here. Now, I recommend putting it on a very low setting, because if it's high, it's going to brew within like 2 minutes, and it will be kind of bitter. So I recommend putting on the very low setting, and you will get the most flavorful coffee. And some people like to add milk to it, but I got to a point where I would just drink it black. So that is called Mocha Pot, made in Italy. And that's what the Italians, you know, that's their go-to for most of them. All right, so you have your French press. So French press, I have so many different kinds. This is my travel French press. I take it, I know I'm one of those people. I take it with me everywhere I go because it's small and it's, you know, just 1 cup. I know it's gonna get the job done. All right, and then you have, so this is my everyday French press. And I've gone from really big ones to medium to small. I just have all kinds. But anyway, so how do you use a French press? Believe it or not, okay, first of all, the French press is my go-to every single morning. It gives me that boost, just gets my day started, just how I like it. Now, I did not actually start using the French press, if I'm being quite honest, until maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, I didn't understand what was its purpose. But anyway, so once I got into it, I've been hooked, and this is what what I use every morning. It needs to be coarse grind. So one thing that I do want to say, a disclaimer, is that in my opinion, coffee is very subjective. There's a lot of different videos that you'll find on YouTube or social media, and everyone's telling you their different, you know, requirements on how to make the perfect cup. I am sharing my personal experience as a coffee lover, as someone who really is passionate about it, and I just want to share what works for me because I know that it can perhaps help someone else. So if you disagree with my ratio or how I make it, that's fine, you know, but I know that there are other people here that I can help. All right, so French press, I use 21 grams of coffee. You know, I have my scale, and then I put 300 grams of water. It's like a regular size mug, right? So it will fill it up. So 21 grams of coffee and 300 grams of water. Once you add it, then you will stir, stir, stir. Once you stir, you wait 4 minutes. I put my timer for 4 minutes, then I come back and press it down and you pour and serve. So now we have the pour over, which is like another new favorite method. So if you're familiar with my brand Kanfuela, we are at the downtown Phoenix Farmers Market when it's not hot. Right now we're on a break if you're watching this, you know, at the current time that I'm posting. But typically when the weather's nice and it's fall and spring in Arizona, we have a pour over coffee bar at downtown Phoenix market. And so it has become a new way that I love making coffee. Pour over is, you know, a lot of people think that it's something super complicated, but really it is not complicated at all. So typically how it works is that this is pretty much your vase where, you know, your base where the coffee will go. So you put, by the way, this is called V60 by Hario, and this is the copper version. They have different kinds. And you would put your filter. So this is my filter. I would just place it in, right? And then I would wet it a little bit after boiling water, of course. I would wet it a little bit. Yeah, typically it is best that you use a gooseneck kettle like this, and which will allow you to really pour over the beans. So what makes this process really popular in my opinion is that it really extracts the flavor of the beans. So I typically go from light to medium roasted coffee beans, and as far as the grind of my beans, I am like between medium and coarse. A lot of places or articles or videos will say to use coarse grind, but I found that when it's too coarse, it will not bloom. Okay, so you just have to play around with your grind setting until you find that perfect one, and it will change from bean to bean. You have to kind of play around and see what works for you, but I'd say anywhere depending on your grinder between that medium to coarse grind. Anyway, so you will just do that, and I have another video on how to make pour over coffee, and you should watch that separately, but that's a little bit of how you should be doing pour over coffee. And similar to French press, I use 21 grams of coffee, but I use 360 grams of water, okay? And total time under 3 minutes. All right, moving on. And then you have the espresso machine. Oh my God, I'm so crowded here. This is an espresso machine here, and it's a brew. and I believe it's called the Barista Pro. I've had it for at least 5 years. And when I first started drinking espresso, I went from, as I mentioned, the Mocha Pot, and then I upgraded to an espresso machine. But I did not go with this at first because this was about $1,000 if I recall. So I started with the Mr. Coffee espresso machine, and that lasted me for a couple of years, and it helped me with the basics of espresso. How do you brew an espresso machine? What is espresso and that sort of thing, and learning how to steam. And it was very basic, but it got the job done. And then I upgraded to this eventually. And so this is what I use at home from time to time. But then I also have a commercial espresso machine now that I use for business. So I will also use it for home use in between jobs, I should say, or events. So I recommend this. It's great. You will learn the basics of how to make a great espresso drink, a great espresso shot. So there you have it. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that this video was helpful. And if you have any questions about any of these brewing methods, please reach out and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And all right, see you next time. Bye.